thank you, Madam Chairpersons, for organizing this very, very important hearing and permission to use the prop. I don't think people have captured in their mind the enormity of the amount of money that has been issued errantly to undeserving people. This wasted money could have purchased 16,789 California homes at the median price point paid for a California home. And it could have also paid for 4 years of schooling at a UC university, and that total of students would amount to 2,065.
I think you point out a very serious problem that is a bipartisan issue that we have all been trying to find solutions for.
Down on fraud. EDD just announced McGregor Scott will help the state prosecute people who defraud the unemployment benefit program last year. The state may have lost.
So I have been hired in my private capacity as a partner here with the King & Spalding law firm by the governor's office and EDD.
Well, McGregor was brought in to help solve some of these problems, and I think he has all the right interests, which is let's just get this whole thing back on track so that we can make sure that we're not being ripped off and that the right people are getting the money.
Your ID.me account.
One solution for the delays in backlog was an identification system called ID.me.
Many of the things that EDD put into place principally in the fall of 2020, ID.me, Thomson Reuters, some of these other safeguards have really, to a large extent, stopped the fraud from taking place.
Any sort of EDD fraud investigation is sort of complex because first of all we have to acquire the applications. The applications, of course, being housed at EDD itself.
So we haven't been able to charge all these people with the fraud because we need those records to prove that.
EDD was, and to a certain extent still is, way behind on processing those search warrants and other requests for documentation that have come into them from law enforcement.
And then we have to play the waiting game, in many cases several months before we start getting records back.
A couple of the things that we have worked on and have accomplished is to create a memorandum of understanding that a local or state or federal law enforcement agency can now sign with EDD so that whole search warrant process can be bypassed. And they can go directly to EDD through the MOU to get the documents that they need.
I know our other detectives have submitted warrants as far back as December and January, and we still haven't received a large portion of them.
I encourage you to tell them to call me because we're going to fix that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to set up this MOU between the agency and EDD, and the documents will flow.
We have a full-time prosecutor on this program. We have a full-time prosecutor. They could spend the rest of their career probably doing these cases because of the number of claims that were for just Sacramento County.
I'm spending easily 85% of my day just on EDD crimes. And it's unfortunate because, you know, I have city residents who are victims of embezzlement and elder abuse that I'm finding I'm not able to focus on as much because of the amount of EDD cases and the pressure to work through those and arrest someone on them.
And he already has his theft device ready. As soon as he puts the camera card in there, it starts rolling. As it starts to play, we'll see him, listen to him inputting his PIN number, and then within a few moments it's up and running.
Okay, so basically what the crooks do is they're going to place this generally on the right hand side. You can see it's got magnets and sticky stuff. It's both sticky and magnetic, okay? And they actually will put this on the side of the machine.
So that's him entering the buttons.
Then they take this device, which is basically the card reader, and they insert this into the card reader itself. And as you can see right here, in here, it's actually going to capture the magnetic strip data.
And it's that quick?
It's that quick, so 10 seconds later, another car pulls up, not even noticing anything.
With a normal bank card, if you were to go to your bank, like I'm with a credit union, I could pull about $300, $400 out at a time. These EDD cards, you could pull out $1,000 at a time.
So many of these calls coming through with EDD cases and people having their cards being completely wiped out and drained, and we had no idea how it was happening. And then we got wind of this, and this is what we figured it out, and nobody really knew.
I've been a prosecutor for a lot of years. Grifters and fraudsters are out there looking for any weakness, and unfortunately, they identified a lot of weaknesses in the EDD process in terms of distributing money, and they took full advantage of it.
There's a law called asset forfeiture, so you can take things as a result of that. That law, as far as we know, does not apply to this. So while we would like to be able to take their Maseratis they bought with the taxpayers, or all the other things that they bought with the taxpayer dollars, we don't have that tool right now. So that is hopefully a legislative fix. I would like to think our legislature would be interested in that.
It's a little more nuanced than that. The DA, but generally speaking, she is correct. California's asset forfeiture law is very narrow, and it's really directed only at drug dealers at this point in time. When you get the conviction and there's a sentence, have the judge order it as restitution to go back to EDD as the victim of the crime.
It is white-collar crime. And the way things are looked at right now, not a lot of resources are thrown towards it. And that's really the big issue. And how do we change that?
The result, a sweeping set of bills from 9 assembly members. Bills they say will ensure changes in the department.
State Assembly passed 2 in a series of bills to reform the state's troubled Employment Development Department.
Yeah, Assembly Bill 110 would require EDD cross-reference records of those who are behind bars with unemployment records.
So, first in fraud, what is your updated estimate of the fraud that was perpetrated throughout the pandemic?
Of the $177 billion that was paid out, $20 billion is estimated to be fraudulent.
We're now at $20 billion and counting. I mean, the odds of getting this back?
So I'm glad you asked that question, because in all candor, my thought when I took this position as special counsel was, well, it's all gone. We're never going to see any of this money. Now, but I've been pleasantly surprised. And it's going to be pennies on the dollar. There's no way around that. But I can tell you that we have seen a number of investigations, both at the federal and the local level, in which cash, large amounts of cash, are being seized pursuant to search warrants.
So you can put this on camera if you like. What I know about fraud is that most often what we see is just on the surface, that there are layers and layers beneath that. So if someone were to come up and tell me that there's $30 billion in EDD fraud, I would increase that by 4 or 5 times, because generally that's how fraud works. We only see what's on the surface. If you really dig into it and start processing it and start investigating it even further, I would say, in my estimation, just if you want to say call a layman's estimation, then I would say we're probably going to creep up close to $100 billion.
And it's about accountability. It should have been done a long time ago. People should have been held accountable. And in my mind, no one has been held accountable still. It never should have been allowed to happen. How do you have that happen?
Of all the folks, all the employees at EDD, management or otherwise, do you know roughly how many have been terminated for substandard job performance since you became director?
I'd have to get some statistics on that.
Do you have a rough sense of it? Is it, single digits,
I don't.
double digits?
No, I don't, and I don't have any sense that it's an unusual amount.
I mean, we're talking 12 years in one instance with the recommendations from the auditor. They ignored that. This is going to help you and help your department, and yet you ignore it. And it didn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well today, and it shouldn't with the citizens.
I'm here to tell you that I have made changes.
But I mean, in terms of what is allowable for you to do under either state law or the relevant contracts?
There is a balance between protections of employees and the kinds of processes that have to be undertaken to move employees out.
Significant steps still need to be taken to address areas of risk where if EDD doesn't continue to follow through on some of the initial positive first steps is taken, then it won't fully realize the benefits for Californians that need its assistance.
When we issued the EDD reports, we said, these are the things you need to do immediately. These are things you need to have done by May of 2021, by the fall of 2021. And that allows us to hold EDD accountable as far as reporting back to the legislature.
I do think that EDD has taken great strides. I do think that's the case. I don't think we should have been here, that we ever had to do this, but we can't go back in time. All we can do is move forward.
I am local, but it's taken way too long. It's been over a year. How can that be acceptable? How can that be acceptable? It's not. It's not. And I just want people to know that there are many of us who find it to be unacceptable and are doing our level best to fix it.
I don't have a lot of hope.
And white-collar crime is treated with kid gloves for the most part.
You look at the 2 audits before, where they give them specific instructions on how to change it and improve their process. They failed to do that. And the only way they're going to do something is having their feet to the fire. So I think there'll be some changes, but will there be drastic changes? I don't think so. It's just business as usual, and that's unfortunate. In the end, it's costing the taxpayers money, and it ruined a lot of people's lives.